Tituli?
Das me healer.
The Bitter Wedding.
Das me healer.
The Bitter Wedding Ceremony.
This is Maria Nicola. She writes poems about love and about life, though she isn't always as tender as she seems here now.
Za do dveras. Dit ne dasmos.
Our journey through Albania starts in Lezha, near the Adriatic coast. The city's water supply system faces serious problems. The infrastructure is in a very poor shape, with huge volumes of water lost through leaking pipes and illegal connections. Edward Rumani, SECO's program officer in Albania, together with Germany and Austria, Switzerland finances projects for water supply in 3 Albanian cities. In Lezha alone, SECO will invest some 10.5 million euros.
Here, right away, we are at a very problematic area. So the distribution network is really in a very appalling situation. You have the pipes which are broken, and it is like 60 years old pipes that have been installed here, and no single investment have been made afterwards.
The consequences for the inhabitants are far-reaching. Many households have running water for 2 hours only a day, mostly during the night. On top of this, the water is not safe for drinking.
Yeah. Skene çap me la.
We've no water to wash ourselves, and I'm too old now to run up and down for water. My head hurts, my arm hurts. Look, there's just no water here. What am I supposed to do?
Como për plas?
Se del fashe barti për zotin.
Do ma
Gjenuj nesër. T'ja pun bësh me megawatt. Fine, vërtet fine.
Shiko, ujtin qypa, në qypa.
Look, here is a barrel. This is where I get water. You can't flush the toilet properly with this. Look, it's no good.
Shife.
Those who can afford it install a water tank on their roof. Konstandin Kapedani climbs on his roof with us. He explains that someone has to be at home at all times to switch on the pump whenever the water starts flowing. And that's not the only problem. We can't drink the water, and we certainly wouldn't give it to our children. There have been some cases of sewage getting into the drinking water already. The situation will soon improve for Maria and Konstandin. The object of SECO's project is to provide round-the-clock drinking water to all citizens. The old reservoir with the rusty pipes will soon belong to the past.
This is what the new project financed by SECO is going to bring for Lezha city and its neighboring areas, a new water reservoir. The second will be a rehabilitation of the whole distribution network and reconstruction of the well. Also, it will be the sewerage emergency measures are going to be tackled, plus also the consultancy services will be supported by SECO.
The unreliability of the water supply also affects small businesses in the area. Mirella Osmani has great hopes linked to this project. Business would be so much better if we had enough water. This water project is going to be great for the people of Lezha, no doubt about it. In Shkodra, in the north of the country, the diggers are already in place. The project here should be completed in 2012, with 110,000 inhabitants getting clean water in their apartments.
Now we are in the peak of the project implementation. After the successful completion of the training for the institutional development of the water utility, the project now starts the second important phase, which is the construction works for building the new water reservoir, rehabilitating the transmission main, and rehabilitation of the distribution internal network for the whole city and the surrounding areas.
If people are getting a good service, they are also more likely to pay for it. To ensure fair pricing, water meters are now being installed throughout the city. Before this project was started, only half of the water bills issued were actually paid. Rehabilitating the infrastructure is just one aspect, however. SECO also hopes to see even more changes take shape.
I think it's important to see that it's not just the rehabilitation of infrastructure, but it's also the establishing, the creating of services and utilities which are economically viable in the future.
Public utilities will operate more cost-effectively thanks to electronic recording of customer data. For the first time, all water connections will be registered and the customers will receive individual bills. The manager of the customer center is already seeing progress.
We have difficulties in collecting the total amount of the bills we generate every month. But since the project has started with these changes, with these gradual changes, we see that also the clients are responding to these changes and are coming to get information and to know how they can become, let's say, regular clients of the utility.
Those who don't pay their bills shall have to deal with computer expert Arsen, who has everyone's details on file.
For example, here we have the number of contracts, and here is the name of the clients and surname of clients, the group, the debits, or if it doesn't have debits, it's a 0.
If necessary, individual households will have their water cut off, a very effective measure. And the employees themselves also benefit from these modernization steps.
The implementation of this project is a school, let's say, because it teaches us a lot about the management, because we, regarding the project, we are making managerial meetings when we learn a lot on how to manage the different situations, how to identify the problems and how to solve them. Because it's not only the identification, but also to solve them. This is the point.
We finish our journey with a happy end at Pogradec, on the Macedonian border. Partially founded by SECO, this project was completed 4 years ago.
It is an Albanian dream to have 24 hours running, clean and clear water at home. This dream has come true in Pogradec for 55,000 citizens and its neighboring area, thanks to the valuable support provided by the Swiss government through SECO and the Swiss taxpayers. And people feel very proud of it and grateful to Switzerland.
A new spring capture was built here during the years 2005 to 2007. And thus the risk of drinking water being contaminated by floods no longer exists. With efficient pumps, new reservoirs and a modern chlorination plant, drinking water is now available on tap around the clock and subject to daily quality controls. The staff has been trained in operating the new plant. The system has been running perfectly since 2007, ensuring the inhabitants a reliable supply of drinking water. We're at the home of the Kapedani family. Grandmother Dashure tells us how she used to carry water up 5 flights of stairs in huge buckets. Nobody ever knew if and when there'd be enough water for a shower. We used to have to boil water before drinking it, and we had to buy bottled water, which was very expensive. Now we're delighted, as we have all the water we need. Dashuria's relatives from Tirana are quite envious of her and her family, with drinking water on tap at home, and the fact that granddaughter Natalia already takes this for granted. The mayor of Pogradec is well aware of the enormous impact running water has had on his townspeople, remembering how bad things used to be.
People were very angry, very aggressive, and and they didn't have peace. In a city like Pogradec, when people are very friendly, they start to lose the hospitality and the peace because of the lack of the water and the bad situation of the sewerage.
Now people are even willing to pay more for their water. In fact, prices had to be doubled to guarantee a good service for the future. These days, 90% of water bills are paid, a sign of how much it's appreciated. Municipal support is even available for those who can't afford to pay. The price is quite normal. For running water around the clock, it's a pretty normal price. Pogradec has a more relaxed atmosphere than other towns. There's more work here than before, especially in fishing and in tourism. Running water is a luxury this town can now offer, attracting more and more tourists every year. Natasha Ykollari runs the Hotel Royal. She tells us that in the past she could only wash and cook when there was water. So it was simply impossible to offer a good hotel service. Since we have running water, guests have been coming back. When you have water round the clock, you can work round the clock. In the kitchen, in the laundry, and you can run a business. And so for us, water is the key to success.
During the summer time, especially in most of the cities in Albania, people suffer a lot for the water. And when they come to Pogradec, they feel like luxury that they have at home running water during all the time. So I'm sure that this is one of the reasons that people choose Pogradec to come and spend their holidays.